Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Nebros. We're back with another video, my first Sydney Watson reaction. Now I know what this one's about. I'd heard about it, but I haven't actually watched it, and so I thought we'd react to it. I thought I'd react to it live. It is about Charlie Kirk, which at this point feels like beating a dead horse, but this video is 3 days old, so um, yeah, let's just get into it. People have now had time to process and everything, so let's see what Sydney's got to say.
Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. I want to start off by saying that I am sorry I didn't make a video about this a little bit sooner. Truth be told, I needed some time to kind of download what has happened in the
Mm-hmm.
last week, and I have struggled quite a lot to both write this video because I feel like I really lack the words to describe what I'm feeling and how this has impacted me, but I also cry every time I try to film, and that's not very helpful. So if I
No,
cry, I'm sorry. It's why I put on less makeup today, and I'm jet lagged because I
as a guy, I didn't notice.
was just on a family holiday and found out the news of Charlie's death on September 11, which felt like a really bad omen. And I was getting a flight that day, so it wasn't good. I'm sorry if this is slightly incoherent. I am tired. Those of you who've been here for a long time know that I love making fun content. I love making you guys laugh, and I like giving you a bit of a brain break from all of the doom and gloom that goes on basically every day. But I also have felt like in the last little while, I can't keep uploading that kind of content to this channel without talking about Charlie Kirk's death and all of the evil, vile stuff that's happened over the last almost 7 days.
Yeah.
I didn't know Charlie personally, and if I'm being honest, I never really listened to his interviews or his podcast or the videos that he made. But in spite of that, I find myself
I saw clips only, like nothing much beyond that. I didn't watch his podcast or anything.
profoundly affected by his loss. Oh my god, Sydney, we're like a minute in. And that feels a little bit
Yep.
bizarre to say about somebody that I don't know and have never met. And yet, I really lack the words to articulate why this is so painful and why this has hit so hard. Over the years, when other figures have been attacked, I've definitely felt sympathy for them and for their families, but
Yeah.
it has never
As any
left
normal
any
person does.
meaningful, lasting impact on me emotionally. This, on the other hand, has wrecked me. I watch videos of Charlie's wife Erica talking about him and I cry. I watch the videos of his body being transported from the hospital and I cry. I watch responses from the people who knew him and I cry. And, I have friends who were colleagues of his. One of my dear friends was a colleague, and, she texted me the other day saying that she had a dream that I passed away because she's
Oh God.
traumatized from this and just wanted to know that I was okay and wanted to jump on the phone. And I don't know, there's something uniquely horrific about this. There's just something uniquely horrific about that. I talk
Yeah.
to my non political friends about this, and I find myself getting extremely choked up basically every time. And people who know me personally would testify to the fact that I am a true Cancerian in the sense that I get emotional over puppies and babies and sad movies, but things like this don't make me
Yeah. Sure.
cry at all. And
Sure.
I think that's why this situation has me just wondering what's so different about this? What's so different here? The pain here, at least
I think that's the same for most people, which is why it bothers everybody so much. Is that it affected everybody, it affected people, but they can't really, they don't really understand why. My mom keeps going to. He was 31 years old. He was younger than. He was like 2 years older than my younger brother. Right? He's 6 years. He was like 7 years younger than I am. Right? Um, and of course, then he's got his wife and his two small kids as well. And that for a lot of people, is what does it for them. Myself, I can't really say. I won't say that I'm too bothered by it. I think it's an important issue to really understand and break down, and analyze and whatnot, but I'm not too shocked or like bothered by the fact that he was killed, or rather by the fact that he's dead. I'm bothered by what it means. But you know, my grandpa died and I didn't shed a tear, unfortunately. Like it sounds a horrible thing to say, but and this was only like 2 years ago, so um, that doesn't mean I don't care. Just everyone dies, why grab at it and you can't really do anything about it. So I had the fortune of seeing my grandpa a couple of days before he passed. Now I knew what was coming when I saw him. The man aged like 20 years in a week, and he was already 80 years old, like 84, I think it was. So yeah, when I saw him the Saturday lying in the hospital bed, I knew he wasn't long for this world, and I told my mum as much. Um, for me, it helped. I don't know if it helped her, but yeah, people's death doesn't phase me too much. But for Charlie Kirk, it's like if they killed him because he had an opinion people didn't like, it could be you next time, or a family member, or it could it could be Sydney Watson, it could be Shoe on Head, hell, it could even be me. Probably won't be, but you can see where I'm going with that.
My opinion is about more than the fact that this was needless, which it was.
Hmm.
Charlie Kirk did not need to die. There was no need for this to happen. I think it's about the fact that for for everything that I can see, he was a genuinely good person,
Hmm.
and he was a genuinely good man and a good father and a good husband, and he really really wanted the best for the United States. It's about the fact that his little family, his little people,
Yep.
are going to grow up without a dad, and his wife Erica has lost her person. And for what? Because the guy had a bunch of opinions that differ from a portion of the population in this
Because the guy had opinions that hurt the feelings of other people.
country. That was his crime. That's what he did that was so wrong, that
Hmm.
determined that he shouldn't live anymore.
Yep.
And now a bunch of people go on the internet and effectively dance on his grave and celebrate. It's sick. I don't know how else to describe it. It's inherently evil to learn about a father or two's passing, and your initial response is to laugh and to jeer and to celebrate and to say that someone needs to take out his wife and children too.
Yep.
And again, and for what? Because the guy had a different opinion to you. I've thought about this a lot. How would I react now if somebody that I don't like on the left politically, if something horrible happened to them, and I would
If first of all, there's nobody on any political side or of any particular disposition whose death I would celebrate. About the only one who comes to mind is Hassan Piker. Um, and I wouldn't shed a tear if he were to die. Uh, but I wouldn't celebrate it either. I'd be like, oh, well, shit. Sucks for him and for the people he knows and who actually do care about him. I wouldn't say he's got it coming or anything, but, you know, it wouldn't bother me.
wouldn't celebrate. Even if I really, really, really disliked them, and even if there was a part of me that felt some type of way, I would never, ever say these things on the internet or celebrate this type of thing. I would say nothing, or I would find it in my soul to express sadness and sympathy for that person and their family,
Yeah, but that's every normal person.
because I think that's the normal thing to do.
Mm.
One of the reasons that I think this is so raw is because Charlie's death came on the back of, or I guess was another layer to this nightmare timeline that we're living in, where only a few days earlier, all of us had watched this horrific, horrible video of this poor woman being stabbed to death in the neck by a lunatic, and then watching her fall on the floor of a train car to bleed out, where people around her were just standing around, not helping, not doing anything. It takes a guy from the other end of the train, presumably, running up to do something finally. And there's all the stills of her looking up, horrified, crying into her hands. And I don't know about the rest of you, but watching that video ignited like a rage in me that sent me to Jupiter because
Yeah, I haven't actually watched the video. I don't want to, because I've seen a hell of a lot worse than that, far more graphic as well. And I saw Charlie Kirk getting shot, and that was hard to watch as well. So I have enough trauma without watching that video, but I can imagine.
what period of time are we living in where this happens on public transportation in broad daylight and nobody does anything? I'm
Yeah,
just so sick.
I bet you Irina's last thoughts were, I should have stayed in the bloody Ukraine.
For her family too, and just this sense of, I just have this sense of rage towards women being unsafe out in the world, people being unsafe out in the world, just trying to exist, and
Yeah.
how we are failing one another so spectacularly.
And then I've had some people, mostly online in Discords and Reddit forums that I'm on, uh, basically throw shade at me for wanting to go to Japan where things are much safer for people. And I just throw like Irina at them, and it's like, you know, I remember uh, many years ago my grandmother was attacked in. Uh, I'm actually not sure where I was. I was still very small at the time. In my if I was in my early teens, I'd be surprised if I was in my early teens. But I just remember Gran being in the living room, and her glasses have been stolen. She doesn't have her glasses on. She's hurt, and she said she was attacked. You know, I remember my brother coming home with a stab wound in his back. Close, the blade actually nicked one of his vertebrae, and he went into surgery to get that all closed up and whatnot. And you know, I remember walking to my girlfriend's house. This one dude comes up to me, tries to mug me. I managed to break a nearby beer bottle over his head, and there he was laying in a fetal position, like crying as blood was pissing out of his head. And so, but the world's not safe, and so there's people that have been that have shamed me for wanting to go to somewhere where it is safer. I'm not going to say Japan doesn't have its problems, but you can at least walk around without really worrying about someone trying to murder you.
Then, only a few days later, we get to see Charlie Kirk shot and killed mid sentence with the mic still in his hand in
Yep,
front of a crowd of people. How traumatizing.
which included his wife and kids. And apparently his youngest daughter ran up to him because she was scared of the sound that was made from the gunshot.
Because some people decided that his words were worth killing for. As much as there's this part of me that wants to say, don't look away, because I do think to some extent that if we get to witness the depravity that's taking place around not just the country but the world regularly, maybe we can all get mad enough to do something about it. But then
Hmm.
another part of me really feels like we probably shouldn't be seeing people get murdered in 4K. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking, I saw a news headline today, toddler assaulted and stabbed. And by assaulted, I mean sexually assaulted, because I can't say the word on YouTube. But, and I thought, maybe it's the reason we see headlines like that all the time, that we're just not fazed about it when it actually happens right in front of us. Maybe that's why people we see stuff like that all the time, and that's why people feel bold enough to dance on a man's grave.
I feel really hollowed out. And I think it's compounded by the fact that over the last couple of days, people have been going to vigils and kicking them down and destroying memorials and going after people who are mourning.
Yeah, and that sort of thing I don't think is necessary. It's not even a case of I don't think it's necessary. It isn't necessary. You had your opinions of the guy. You didn't have to like him. Just actually leave the rest of us alone to mourn him, to hold our vigils. You didn't like him. You didn't respect him. You didn't care for him. That's fine. Then just go do your own thing and leave the rest of us alone.
And spreading horrible lies about this person when he's not here to defend himself.
Hmm.
And I'm not trying to be soft and cry my whole way through this video, although I knew I was gonna cry because
Yeah.
I can't talk about this and engage with this without doing that. So I am sorry. But I just yeah, like my heart can't take it. For like I said, there's a multitude of reasons. I'm probably not articulating myself terribly well. This is
Yeah, you're still
it is odd.
processing it.
It's odd to sit here and try to say all of this. But since all this happened, I have consumed a lot of Charlie Kirk content finally, and come to find out that I think I would have really liked him. I think we
Mhm.
would have gotten along really well, actually, despite the fact that we absolutely don't agree on everything. But
As I said in a previous video, I think he would have liked the fact that you don't agree with everything because that creates a space for conversation. That's the kind of person he was.
I I think he must have been a really, really, really great person. He
Mm.
wasn't, and he's not this monster that the left is trying to paint him as. And maybe that's why this is so hard, because he was one of the few people who was genuinely trying to reach across the aisle and actually have meaningful dialogue. And if
Yeah,
you watch videos of him talking to people on college campuses, he's so respectful of them, and he tries to meet them where they're at, and I think so few people actually do that. He didn't try
yeah.
to meet people with mockery or with insults, but like with actual genuine kindness
He never looked for the gotcha moments. No.
and understanding. And there's just so little of that, I think, in the world at the moment. And apparently that once again is worth killing someone over. As an
Mm.
person, as an I don't know, YouTube, as a commentator, if we want to call me that. I do feel unsafe for the first time ever, and that is a very odd feeling. I don't like it. I feel very rattled by that. And bizarrely, one of my girlfriends, who's also in media, said to me the other day that maybe it's a thing that we just have to accept now, that if you are talking about specific issues on the internet, you have to accept that there's a target on your back. And even now, that still feels insane to me.
Yeah.
That sounds like such a jarring, insane statement.
I don't think that's something you have to accept. I think it may be something you've got to prepare for and be aware of, but you don't have to accept it.
And I'm sure she was right. I just don't I just don't want that to be the case. Until this point, a lot of the ire, I guess, was directed at politicians and at CEOs and these people who run these big corporations that are perceived to be harming others or directly complicit in the harm of others.
Yeah.
The ire was not directed meaningfully at those of us on the internet just sharing our ideas and talking about things. Or, of course, the people who go to university campuses with the intention of having conversations and poking holes in ideas and discussing things and shining a light on specific issues. And so I can't help but feel like it could have been any one of us. I feel like it could have been one of my close friends, and it's awful. A guy walks into a room full of students, and because someone has opinions, the wrong ones in someone else's view, he's gone. And this sense of security that I had has been very much ripped away. And
Yeah.
so,
That's
and
understandable.
I promise I'm not trying to be dramatic or overly doom and gloom here. I think this is kind of where I've landed on the issue, and I'm sorry if it comes across as a little bit half baked, but at least in my opinion, I think that a screwed up new reality, a new truth that we have to contend with is the fact that there's a portion of people who don't just dislike us, they're done disagreeing. They're so crazy and they're so unhinged that they want to take tangible, lasting, forever action. And the
Hmm. Yeah.
psychotic thing is that they gun for you for absolutely nothing, for so little, for a tweet or a passing comment or stepping outside of the status quo.
Yeah, and then they say stuff like, well, have you tried just not being a fascist or a Nazi or this or that? And like, it's not that hard. It is hard because the goalposts keep changing, the rules keep changing. You never know from one day to the next whether your stance is going to be what gets you labeled a fascist or a Nazi or whatever. Look at you on Hinge. You just did a video, and there's a literal 3 minute segment in the video where she's just rattling the list of why she's been called a Nazi or a fascist or whatever else. And it's stuff like she wore a bow in her hair. She has an American flag as the backdrop to her videos. She's anti-pedophilia. Like the rules are always changing, so you can never. And this is what Christopher Hitchens said. We can never adapt enough to please the fanatics. And the truth of that is demonstrated literally every day.
Charlie Kirk was just a guy. He was a guy who went to university campuses to talk to kids, talk to students, to reach across the aisle, to hear them out and potentially try to change their perspectives or offer them a new perspective. He
Yeah,
wasn't some CEO of some grand entity that
he tried to at least get people to think, to question what they know. There's no, as I said before, there's nothing bad with questioning what you know. There's nothing bad to it. It's not bad to admit that you don't have all the answers because then you start asking the right questions. But the problem with people these days, particularly these younger college students, is they think they know it all, and so they're not open to other worldviews. They're not open to questioning anything.
was hurting people. He wasn't a politician trying to dodge accountability. He was just a guy. He was just like everybody else. And he was trying to make a difference in the best way that he knew how.
Mm,
And he was spirited and he was articulate and he was trying to make sense of this weird world that we live in. And now he's dead. And now he's dead. He was a guy with a family, two little kids, trying to build business, trying to be a good, great husband to his wife. And I think that's maybe the part of this that guts me most. Like I said, I've watched a lot of Charlie Kirk videos over the last couple of days, and I am sad that I didn't pay better attention when he was here. Because I do think that he had something pretty cool to offer the world. And I don't
yeah,
just say that, I actually really mean that. And you guys know me, I do not like anyone. There's one last thing that I want to make note of, and it's the one that I extra don't know how to articulate, but I'm going to do my best, and it relates to religion. I have been a lifelong atheist. No, my little cherub, that's not an invitation to try to convert me. Thank you. I am okay. I have many a Christian in my personal life trying to achieve that end. Jokes aside, I have been a lifelong atheist or agnostic, if that, if people feel better about that term. Because I do have my own ideas about things and the world and all of it. And I've looked at religion, I've read the Bible, I've done these things. There's components to this that I don't find terribly compelling. And I think that's okay. Just in the same way that I think it's okay that people have belief, and I will back up people who have belief. But in saying that, I've also had a lot of really negative experiences with cultural Christians. And I say cultural Christians because I think these are the people who use Christianity as a skin. They wear it as a skin, they
yeah,
use it as a shield to protect themselves from criticism. But really, when you strip that all away, I don't think that they are doing things that are emblematic of true Christianity. And up until very
yeah. It's
recently,
performative.
up until I started really sort of consuming Charlie's content and listening to the way that he talks about his Christianity, I don't know how to articulate this. It's like, I get it. Like, Charlie's version of Christianity is the one that people really need to hear because, in my experience, I have been insulted and berated and degraded and called all sorts of names and accused of all sorts of things because I don't subscribe to any particular ideology. But his version of things is nothing like that. It's not forceful, it's fierce, but it's not forceful in the way that other people go about promoting their beliefs and ideologies. And I think that it makes it so much more accessible to people who've either been burned by religion or people like me who are like, meh, it's not for me. I think
Probably more palatable too.
he genuinely wanted the best for others. Again, I don't know how to articulate any of this, but even the way that he spoke about his wife Erica and she about him, like their adoration for one another, and all of this, if that kind of relationship is biblical, it's one I can get behind. So I
Yeah,
get why disaffected Christians want to go to church now, and why a lot of them, over the weekend, or this last Sunday past, said I've been to church for the first time in I don't know how long, and I get why a bunch of atheists or people who are agnostic or who aren't super sure did the same thing and said, I'm going to go to church because I feel like it's the right thing to do. I get it. I
Hmm.
really get it. Anyway, I know that I'm just another
Can't say that I
person
do, but
expressing ideas about this and about a person that I didn't have the privilege of knowing. Um, but I felt like I needed to say something before we could continue on with our regularly scheduled programming. Um, because this is wrong. This whole thing is wrong. And this shouldn't have happened. And this shouldn't happen again. Charlie Kirk should not be gone. He should have had the opportunity to watch his kids grow up and to grow old and die at like 100. You know, when we're all probably plugged into the Matrix
yeah,
and, you know, eating steak with Cypher or whatever. That's
I
how I
know the
still feel
scene
that
she's
he
talking
should have
about
lived
exactly.
to grow old and to be impactful and to keep doing things that made the country better. So I just feel this tremendous sense of loss. Um, I hope I've done a decent job articulating why. And I know it's bizarre to feel this way about this person that I didn't know,
It's
but
not
I just
really
can't help
bizarre.
but feel utterly heartbroken. And so,
It's not
um,
really bizarre.
to those of you who feel similarly, I'm sorry that this has maybe rocked your little planet as well. And I'm sorry that we're living in this stupid period of time. And, you know, if we can find a silver lining here, not that that's very easy right now, but maybe this will spark some change. And maybe this will be a crowning moment. In what direction or in what way, I don't know. But I do hope that something positive can come out of this because I actually think that's really what Charlie would have wanted based on the things that he said.
Yeah.
Um, Although I'm not religious, I do genuinely hope that there is a God in these situations, so that the people who really believe can have that at the end of the day. I think that that's
my honest,
something. Um,
my honest take here about that is that I don't think. I think one of two things is correct. Well, one of three things actually. Um, Either God let this happen, God couldn't do anything about it, or God doesn't exist. And in whatever the case, if he let this happen, well, it must be for some sort of reason we don't know, and the reason could be something as simple as he didn't care to do anything about it. If he's not able to do anything about it, then is he a god we want to? Is he all powerful? Don't know. And if God doesn't exist to have done anything about it, then you know what, we're pretty much on our own anyway. But the bottom line with that is that God's not going to do God's not going to save us. God's not going to do anything about it. He's not going to stop atrocities like this. I mean, like I said earlier, a toddler um, raped and stabbed and left for dead. A toddler, so if God doesn't protect the weakest and most innocent of his flock, then what use is a God? Whether he can or just won't, if he can't protect them or you know, I don't want to serve a God like that. So, in my mind, if he can do something about it and lets it happen, then he's not someone I would want to serve. And if he can't do it, then he's not worth serving anyway. So that's where I'm at with God.
mm. And you know,
My personal favorite is he just doesn't give a shit.
I think if there is a deity out there, I think he would have been like, "All right, kid, let's go. Let's go do some cool stuff." Um, I don't know how to finish this out. I have no idea how to finish this video. I'm definitely not going to be one of those people that tells you all not to be angry. I'm not going to tell you how to act because I know I'm angry and I know that I have a lot of really complex feelings around this, and I'm sure all of you do too. But I just, you know, I want to let you know that we're in this together as we always are. And I have so much love for this community. And so much love for hopefully the positive direction that hopefully we can go in going forward. And I truly, from the bottom of my heart, hope that all of you stay safe and well because that's so important. And cuddle your loved ones. Cuddle them for me. Go cuddle your dog for me, actually, or your cat, or your tortoise.
All of them.
um, I probably will make other videos about this issue too because I have so much to say about a couple of different components to it. So I'll try not to be too doom and gloom. But yeah, these are awkward to end out. So I will say I love you guys. I love all of you a lot, and I'm really grateful to have this community. And I will see your wonderful little stinker faces in the next video.
Take care, Sydney. Okay, so that was that. Link to the original video will be down below. I think she pretty much said it all, and I don't have anything to add. So, link to the original video will be down below. Be sure to check that out if you want to. And with that, I'm going to round out with Grind to Affiliate for September continues. Um, um, I want to show you guys my, I think it's creator dashboard. Yeah, 4 followers needed. The view count is still, average view count is still iffy. So yeah, if you guys make it this far in the stream, in the video, please be sure to drop by for my stream. We're streaming again tonight, and it's typically where's typically Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, and maybe weekends. I'd like to leave some days without streaming, just to not burn out. But yeah, be sure to pop in the stream. You guys will help me fill up some bars here. And with that being said, we're going to move on and call an end to this video. Take care, everybody. And like Sydney said, cuddle your dog, cuddle your cats, cuddle your loved ones. And like I said before, be kind to one another. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.